Hello, Facebook family and friends. This is Terry Hatchett again with my husband, Frank Hatchett. He's there. He's just not seen. Say hello, baby.
Hello.
Okay, and today's topic that we want to discuss is bringing baggage into a relationship. Now, notice I did not say you should not bring baggage into a relationship. The topic is bringing baggage into a relationship. And the reason why I said you should not bring baggage into a relationship is because, well, sometimes it's unavoidable. I picked this topic because of something that happened during the week that my husband and I spoke on. And it made me really think about bringing baggage into a relationship. First of all, my consensus on it at first was, you shouldn't bring baggage into a relationship. You should clean up your baggage before you bring it into a relationship. But sometimes it's unavoidable.
Yeah, especially if she or he got a whole bunch of bags like somebody I
know. Okay, so like my husband is in full form tonight, by the way. And yes, I do have a bunch of bags, and some of them are my crazy bags.
Hello.
So, some of my bags was unavoidable. But here is the real important thing. It's not about bringing the baggage into the relationship. It is about how you unpack your baggage with your mate and put those things away.
Proper perspective.
Yeah, put them in a proper perspective. Very good, honey. Okay, maybe we're both in the rare form tonight.
You said that like I was a kindergarten.
Very good, Frankie. Frankie is doing
bloodshed after this video.
Frankie did his homework last night. Him did his homework. Aww.
This will be the last video I
do. Now. Don't make me threaten you.
Don't get threatened.
Oh. Yeah, we're in rare form. This is, in actuality, this is our level of disagreement. This is how we disagree, okay? It might not seem like a lot to some people, but this is our level of disagreement. This is about as deep as we get with us. We don't have too many disagreements.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so our disagreements is just like nothing. But anyway, it means a lot to me, okay? But anyway, back to baggage in the relationship. So you said, honey, it's about putting them in proper perspective. What does that mean to you?
It just means that you have to know a certain time and a place for everything. You have to be mindful of things you say, mindful of things that you do, not just for you, but for your mate as well. And it's some things that you can say and some things you can't say. I mean, until the comfortability is there where you can talk about everything, but sometimes just some things are a touchy situation with someone you're in a relationship with, and if it is, then you have to know how to ease into a discussion about that situation, because it could be very near and dear to them, and you have to be mindful of what you say and what you do, and also respectful. You can't just do everything all willy-nilly. You got to take your time with certain things. So with a proper perspective, is just being mindful, basically, of when to say and when to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also, though, like for instance, I think sometimes in our relationships, We use our past relationships as a
Crutch.
foundation. Yeah, a crutch. That's a good word. I was gonna say like a foundation of what the present relationship is supposed to be. And that's so
That's
wrong.
wrong. You can't do that.
Yeah, that is so wrong to do that. We can't base.
There's no way you can do that because the new person that you're with, there's nothing like what you just left.
Exactly, and you can't base this person on that person.
Right. There won't be no relationship that way.
So I won't say that, you shouldn't bring baggage into a relationship.
Sometimes you can't help it.
Yeah, sometimes you can't help it. It's how you bring it in. If you bring it in and spread it all over the place, then
it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a mess. But if two people are on one accord and they have God in their relationship and you bring baggage into the relationship, then together y'all can unpack that baggage and empty it out. Together y'all can work on that, because what is a relationship about if it's not working together? There is, I won't say there is no perfect, but there is no, everybody has a past.
And there's no I in team.
Yeah, there's no I in team. That's the best way to put it. Everybody has a past. But to have a mature relationship, you have to know what to make an issue and what not to make an issue. Everything does not necessarily have to be an issue. Everything does not necessarily, just because in your past, your past relationship something happened, does not mean that other person is going to be the same way. You have to give that other person a chance.
And you have to communicate. That's the most important thing. Regardless of anything, you have to communicate, and you have to talk to one another. Talking meaning talking to where what you're talking about is being understood and not being talked at.
Exactly. And that is very, my husband and I said to my husband, very good, Frankie, like he was a 3-year-old, and we joked about it.
And she didn't get it because of that.
But in actuality, that's a part of talking at. We can't, we have to be mature about things. We have to talk to and not at. If I really conducted myself with him all the time like that,
there would be no relationship.
Yeah, there would be no relationship. It's important to sit down and if you don't know, don't try to guess. Don't try to figure out or snoop. Ask. Find out. Go to the person directly. And I'm sure a lot of people will say, when you say that, I'm sure a lot of people will say, well, what if they lie to you? Well, then maybe you should not be in that relationship. Maybe you should second guess that relationship, because if you can't trust the person you're with, you don't need to be with that person, because the Bible states that the head of a household is a man. Now, if he is truly a godly man, then you should be able to trust him. If he say, let's go around this corner, there should not be no guessing, because you should trust him. If you can't trust him, then there's a number of issues there. First of all, are you both evenly yoked, and do you both know God? That's the first thing. And did God ordain the relationship? The second thing is that if you can't trust him to go around the corner, you're doomed from the start. Because what relationship, without trust, there is no respect.
That's right.
There's no respect. And without respect, there is nothing. Because if you don't respect the person, you're not going to act accordingly to the full potential, because you don't respect them. So you really don't care.
And you'll do anything, you'll do whatever you feel like doing when you want to do it, and so forth and so on.
Exactly. And knowing, we had a conversation today about knowing the one. And one of the things that I said is the reason why I knew my husband was the one, well, first because of God, but secondly because forsaking all others, because there's nobody There is nobody, there's no other man that turns my head but my husband. And if anybody that knows me know that I wasn't that type before. Let's just say that. I was not that type before. And
that's because I ain't wasn't in your life. Yeah.
Okay. But my husband, because he is who he is and God gave him as a gift to me, I'm like that now. No other man can turn my head. And there is, I could not imagine, there's no one else out there for me but my husband. Put it that way. There's nothing no greater. No other man no greater than my husband. Why would I go, they have this thing, the 80-20 rule. But why would I leave something that God gave me, a gift, a beautiful gift, to satisfy all my needs for something, for a one night stand, or for something that's not.
It's a pacifier.
Yeah, a pacifier. Why would I do that? That's just crazy. And it's disrespectful to God, because he done gave me a gift and I'm going to go and just throw it down like it's nothing and go somewhere else and do something else. That's not the way to be. So my sister, one of the reasons why I thought about bringing baggage into the relationship, because my sister, she does the live videos too, and she was talking about the relationship between her and her man now, and saying how her and her mate, they had a bad argument, but they were able to come together and see each other's faults, which kind of spearheaded the thing of bringing baggage in the relationship. So if two consenting adults, and I use that word loosely because sometimes either one person is mature and the other person is not mature. But if two consenting adults are mature enough and equally yoked, then an argument is not really an argument. Of course, you're going to have disagreements and don't see eye to eye on things. But what happens is you are big enough and mature enough to sit down and look at, okay, where was I wrong in this? Instead of saying, well, he did so and so and he needs to do so and so. It's like, where was I wrong in this? And maybe some of the things he said was validated, and hey, I'm big enough to say, okay, I was wrong for that, maybe, I should have looked at it a different way.
There's no way you can have a mature conversation or a mature discussion or a mature, let's say, agree to disagree situation if you don't do self-correction first. And what I mean by self-correction is that if you get into a spat with your mate and she's giving you a point of something that you've done, you have to, at some point, think about what you're doing or what you've done in order to be able to correct that in your situation. And you have to look at yourself instead of pointing the finger all the time. You can't always point the finger like you're not at fault, because sometimes you could just know that you're right. You just know that you're right about something, and you could be totally wrong about it. But what happens is you know that you're right, and then there becomes an arrogance because you don't want to believe that you're right, because you don't want to believe that you're wrong because you're so hell-bent on being right all the time. Sometimes being wrong is a humbling thing, but it's also a corrector. It'll help you correct some things, and it'll help you be able to build more on what you have than to draw a wedge in between it and tear it down.
But I think that also comes with, like my sister said, the way you was raised. And that comes back to sometimes you can't help from bringing baggage into a relationship. And sometimes the way you was raised has a big effect on how you conduct yourself in a relationship. However, I still say that if it's God in the mix, that sort of cuts out a lot of the mess in a relationship, or the messiness that a relationship can be. Because I know that like my sister, I was raised. Our mother was
Crazy.
my mother was a very strong woman, and so that made me a very strong woman, which I had the attitude of ain't no man gonna tell me what to do. And
Wrong.
and you know what? I I have a different outlook on that now. What the outlook I have now is I truly believe that the head of a household is a man, according to God. But it has to be with a man that's of God, that God knows. Because if God don't know him, then he's not godly, and you shouldn't follow him around the corner, in my opinion.
And then too, at the same time, you have to understand what it means by a woman being submissive to
Exactly.
her husband. You know, just because, you know, the Bible says a woman has to be submissive to her husband doesn't mean that he should walk around barking orders all the time and she got yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, okay, and have no say so. And because the man is the head of the house, that she has no say so at all, and he every decision is his. That's not right. That's not right. You have to come together on decisions. Sometimes you have to compromise, you know, and you have to work it out so that the situation is comfortable for the both of you. I would never bark orders at my wife, but at the end of the day, the final say so does belong to me. But you have to be mature enough to understand that if the final say so belongs to you, you have to find the median in that to where as though she's comfortable with the final decision. Because at the end of the day, she's still an individual and she still has a say so because it's still her life.
And that's one thing that's one of many things that I truly love about my husband. I am the type of woman that it gives me joy to be submissive unto my husband and to serve my husband. And when I say serve, I'm sure a lot of people find that offensive. A lot of women find that submissive, offensive. But I do serve my husband, and I have no problem with saying that. And I'm very proud that I serve my husband. What that entails is my husband is not allowed in the kitchen unless he asks me, because a part of I feel my duty is to make sure that he has his meals, and that when he asks for a glass of water, I go in the kitchen and I get him a glass of water. Now that's me. That's just my thing that I feel. However, the important thing in that is that not one day has my husband taken that for granted. And that's the most important part. What that means is my husband always says thank you. My husband always asks me in a respectful manner, can you get me a glass of water? Very respectful and very considerate. Or he'll say, are you tired, baby? You know, if you're tired, you know, I'll go get my water. No, and I'll get it. I appreciate the fact that he does not take advantage of something that's in me. He doesn't take away from me. How did you put it, honey? When you said that, why would you take that away from me?
Right. I'm taking away your option to want to be who you are. If that's something that if that's a part of who you are, if that's a part of your makeup, with me disregarding that or excluding that, that's taking a part of you away. And I'm not giving you the option to be who you are or want to be who you are with me. And that's not fair. I can't take your option away from you. You know, that's selfish. And I have to respect that. And I would never say, go get me some water. That's not how you don't do that. That's not how you talk to people, regardless if you have the last word or not. I mean, it could very well be one day you really don't feel like getting water from me. I can get up and get it myself, but this is why I always say, babe, can you give me some water, please? Babe, do you feel like making me something to eat? Sweetheart, I'm hungry. Are you in the can you make me something? I'm asking because I know that I can't just say, I'm hungry, give me something to eat. That's who am I to do something like that? You know, and then that makes you not want to do those kind of things because I'm barking orders at you, and that's not right. And then that'll make you regret being the way you are, wanting to be attentive and submissive and those sort of things. So with that being said, when you be submissive, both parties have to understand the limit to go to in order for it to be successful.
I think that's where evenly yoked comes in. I think that's why it's important to be
Amen.
evenly
Praise God.
yoked, because
Praise God.
how can you follow the how can you follow your man according to God's law if he does not believe in God's law or he doesn't even know God? You can't.
And I just want to say this, brothers out there, man, I know a lot of times, brothers get certain things misconstrued and women do too. But for me, the thing that works for me is when I pray, I ask God to give me what I need to be able to deal with my wife and the way he sees fit, not what my mind sees fit. I ask God to give me what he sees fit for me. Give me the tools in order to build my wife up. You give me the tools and I'll build it. And that way, things will, everything is not going to be peaches and cream every day. But I'll tell you, 99.5% of the time, it will be if you ask God to give you what to say and what to do and how to react and how to act in certain situations.
Ask God to lead.
You have to ask God to lead you as a man of the house, and your house will be in order as long as you talk to God about it. And he'll give you what you need in order for your house to be correct. And that's just how that's how I live, and I thank God because he's given me what I need so far. Thus far, I'm very thankful and I'm humble.
I am too. And that's what's important. I mean, that's very important too. Because honestly, life is short. And something that we make a joke about in my CPP organization is that at this age, if you can't have peace in your own home, for me, I'm going to get a piece and make some peace. But luckily, I don't have to do it. Well, thankfully, blessed because of God, I don't have to do that. Because, number one, I went to him and I asked him before I got married this time. And secondly, because my husband knows God very well. And he is a man of God. And so most of the time, our life, I guess, to some people is very humbled and very boring to some people because we don't argue. We don't have, we have disagreements, but for, like he said, 99% of the time, we're
okay.
we're okay. It's nothing. It's funny because there's times when I'll pick with him because I'll go, hey, we don't argue. I got to start an argument. I got to think of an argument, and I'll be joking with him. But
and we'll laugh it off because there's really,
there's nothing to argue about. There's
right.
No, we talk to each other. If it's something we don't know, the biggest thing is communication, like he said. But also with communication comes the part you got to be able to handle. Don't ask a question if you're not ready to handle it. And I said that before. You have to be able to handle the answer. If you can't handle it, don't ask it. And don't go looking for nothing, because you go looking for something, you'll find it. First of all, I'm lazy. Okay, so I'm not going to go looking for nothing behind my husband because I just don't have time. I'm too lazy for it. So if he doing something behind my back, good for you, because I just ain't got time. I'm not going to...
What's done in the dark comes to the light.
Yeah, God's going to discover it anyway. And anyway, what am I going to do about it? He going to do what he going to do. And I won't worry about it till it comes in my face. if it ain't in my face, I'm not gonna go looking for nothing and think I got too many other things to worry about than worry about who he texting on the phone or what's on his phone or that's just too much. If I gotta go through that, then I shouldn't be with him. That's truly how I feel. If I gotta go through all that, I don't need to be with him. And I truly believe that God put us together. I'm good with that. I'm trusted of him. So there's nothing he can't tell me or we can't talk about. And he is, although we're one together, but he had a life before me and I had a life before him. So how can I get mad because he lived before me? Or how can he get mad because I lived before him? That's just, if you really think about it, that's kind of petty. You're looking for a reason. And trust me, there's enough going on in the world without having to be bothered with that pettiness. We can leave that one somewhere else.
Yeah.
So we don't, so with that being said, there's nothing left out there to even worry about. And that's not, and I say again, going back to the baggage, it's not like that we didn't have baggage that we brought into the relationship. But bottom line is, because of God being in the midst of our relationship and because of the trustworthiness between us and the communication, we understood how to unpack that baggage and put it away where it belonged, put it in its place.
And one of the most important things at the same time was the respect that we had and have for one another, because we built a friendship before we built a relationship and a marriage.
Yes.
We had a very beautiful friendship before we built a relationship and a marriage. We had a beautiful friendship first. So, I mean, sometimes, it may not work out in that case, but at the same time, the thing is respect. If you're respectful, if you have respect, if you start with respect, everything else will tend to fall in line the way it needs to. If you're mindful and have respect, that's it. And communication. If you talk and be truthful and say what's on your mind and let that person know what you will and will not do, what you will and will not stand for,
and stick by it.
Then hey, everything.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Ask questions. I don't agree with everything that Creflo Dollar says or preaches about, but that's one thing we did agree with him on. I was asking, is that your hair or did you purchase it? And if did you buy it on credit? And do you have insurance? If you died today, could you bury you? I mean, it sounds funny, but we asked those. We asked every question we could think of and then some. And to be honest with you, I'm still asking questions. I will come in the blue in a minute, and that mostly during movie time, because that's when they come to me.
Yeah, you can't ask me no questions any other time. But we sit down to watch a movie, get comfortable, and the movie just starting, and here she comes with 100 million questions, and I'm like, the movie.
Yeah, I will quit to ruin a good movie.
You couldn't say that while we were searching for one, while we was fumbling with the remote, or getting some juice or something. You gotta come right when it's, hey.
But that's important because I think that's a huge part of communication. There's nothing that I can't ask from him or he can't ask me. There's no topic off limit because that's my friend. That's my husband. That's my friend. That's my praying partner. My sister said something and it really struck home with me. She said that her spouse, her other half not only prays with her, but he prays for her. And that is, I cannot stress how important that is and how good that feels. Because my man not only prays with me, but he prays for me. And I'm going to tell you, ladies, something. When you have a praying man that prays for you and with you, there's nothing. You know, they always say the key to a good man is having a good woman stand behind his side. Well, a key to a good woman is, or a successful woman, is having a praying man that can pray for you and pray with you. There's nothing like that in the world.
Yes, sir.
That is such a good blessing. So that being said, that helps a lot. That is the biggest thing, that I have a praying man. And yes, I had luggage. And yes, it needed to be unpacked. Some of my crazy luggage. Some of it was very crazy. But I had a mate that says, well, you know, babe, pray on it. Or let's pray on it. Or I'll pray for you, baby. Or because he wasn't afraid to say, I don't know, baby. But God knows. Let's take it to God.
I can't know everything. And I won't pretend to know everything. And I won't try to make myself look like I know everything. If there's some things that I don't know, give me your hand. Let's close our eyes and bow our heads, and we'll talk to God about it. And in some way, shape, or form, He's definitely going to correct it. If you ask, you have not because you ask not. That's what the Word of God says. But if you ask, you shall receive. So you keep knocking and you keep asking and you keep asking. And sooner or later, in His time, not in our time, He's going to give you the answer. And you just pray about that thing, man. You just pray about that thing, and you be consistent and diligent about praying about that thing, and He will definitely answer it. And when He gives you the answer, that's the final cut. There's nothing else to worry about, because when He gives it to you, it's cut and dry. There's no wavering. There's no second thought about it. There's no wondering if I would have did, or wondering if I would have said. There's none of that. It's cut and dry. You have the answer. It's like a key to the golden door. When you put the key in and turn it, when you open the door, it's beautiful. It's paradise. That's what His answer is. That's what His answer is. That's when He gives you that answer, that's what it is. So pray on it.
Exactly.
If you don't know, pray. Just ask God.
So in retro, it's not the luggage that you bring into a relationship. It's who you have as a partner to help you unpack that luggage.
I mean, there are some things that you have to be mindful enough not to bring into a relationship. But you know what, though, babe? We are not, I'm not trying to say we're better than anybody, but we do what works for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, it didn't matter what type of luggage you had, and it didn't matter what type of luggage I had, because I was going to pray that thing up off us anyway. You understand? And God, listen, it's a beautiful thing to be able to help somebody with their luggage. You know?
So same thing, baby. It's not how much luggage you have or bringing luggage in a relationship. It's who you have to help you unpack the
Right.
luggage.
I mean, yeah. Right.
Because some luggage can't be. Sometimes you can't help but bringing luggage in.
Right. But I'm saying, when I say be mindful, what I mean by that is be mindful of all of the luggage that you're unpacking with that person.
That's
because
true.
Sometimes that person may not be able to handle, that extra bag over there, or you know what I mean? That's why I said pray about it.
So let me ask you, that's a good question, and we're going to end this soon because we don't want to go over like we always do. But so you said that, somebody might not be able to handle it. As a man, what is your advice on that? Because, I'm sure there was some of my luggage that made you sit back and say, well, I don't know, I ain't signed up for this, Lord. So how do you handle that?
God. That's the only advice I could give. You pray on it and talk to you about it. There's nothing under the sun that I can't talk to you about. If there was a part of you or a piece of luggage that I was not happy with, I talked to you about it. I brought it to you. I laid it on a platform in front of us so that we could discuss it amongst ourselves. And then I prayed about it. But I prayed about it first and asked God to give me the conversation to have with you about that thing. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Lord, help me to help my wife with this luggage. Give me what I need to say to her so that the questions aren't coming across brass. They're not coming across, not brass, but rough. They're not coming across abrasive.
In a hurtful manner.
In a hurtful manner, disrespectful manner. I want to give her the easiest way to be able to explain it. I want to give her the question in a way that, she doesn't mind answering because she knows that it's good for the both of us to just explain to me what's going on so that I know that I can help her with that instead of nitpick about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Lord, give me a way to ease the indifference in her mind about that situation or this piece of luggage. Lord, give me a way to handle it. Give me a smooth way, a smooth transition into handling it with her. Instead of me taking it upon myself without praying about it and just coming to you and asking you about these things, and you're looking at me because you very well could have looked at me crooked like, who are you to ask me about so-and-so and so-and-so if I wasn't ready to share that with you? You understand what I'm saying? Because that very well could have happened. You know?
I'm not ready to unlock that luggage, even though
ready
I
to
brought
go
it
there
into
yet.
the relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to go there with you. And like that, I think that was disrespectful for you to come to me, in that manner.
Or I might be rebellious with it. Well, I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
Because
And then automatically, from that point, instead of drawing a connection, you're drawing a wedge.
Mm.
And you can't start out a beautiful relationship like the one we have with drawing a wedge. You need to draw a connection to let you know that anything you come to me with, I'm not just going to jump off the boat and start going crazy, or I'm just going to jump up and start screaming like some madman. Anything you come to me with, it's okay, baby. Well, let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do about it. I can't see myself, just going crazy and loud and disrespectful and that's just not, you can't get a point across that way. You'll get more resentment than anything. And I would never want to have resentment between myself and my wife. If this is a woman that I say I love, if I could look at you and tell you I love you, I would not want to give you any reason to resent anything that I come to you with. That's like a contradiction.
That's deep. I love that man, y'all. I love that man of mine. I can't help it.
Oh boy. Explain something and then you go into
I just go into left field. I just love to hear him talk. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Okay, I get back there. Okay, back to station identification. I guess.
Back to the luggage, man.
So here at Hatchett Chronicles, I would like to say that we welcome any questions, comments. We are trying to do this once weekly, we're starting out. I did say the first video, I said this was an experiment to see how it goes, but we are welcoming questions, any topics that you want to discuss or you would like us to discuss. Please feel free to go on our page, the Hatchett Chronicles,
And leave a comment.
Join
our page.
Question. Join our page. Like our page. Because according to Facebook, family, and friends is according to how long we stay on. So, So, if this catch on, then we'll stay on. If you enjoy hearing us.
And if you want to make a donation, that's fine too. A cup of soup here and there.
You know what? I can't. I do love him. I really do. But
all the bisons that are looking.
Any bisons that want to come and get paid
oh my
for,
God, I have to go. Okay, we're going to come right now before he gets me in trouble.
No, thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. We love you. God bless. And we just extend our hand. And if you want to, join in.
Yeah, please join in. It's all in fun and love and blessings.
And prayerfully, there's something that we can help one person with, then we're doing what we set out to do.
Exactly. So, and that's the main thing. If one person or a couple, if one couple catch on or something we said that helps someone,
then thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
Because it's all in Jesus' name that we do this.
Exactly.
And try and help out as much as we can.
Exactly.
And this is our contribution to what God has given us. So we can't be selfish with it. We have to share it. So thank you guys for watching. And
we'll see you next time. The Hatchett Chronicles out!